That's unbelievable.
All right, everybody, we'll wait and see if we can get a few people on, and then we'll go ahead and get started. And make sure you can get your comments in as you tune in here on YouTube and on Facebook. We're back in the same situation we've been in the last couple of games here, just kind of going back and looking at some of these stats, and we'll go through all that. It was a tale of two different halves. It was yet another bizarre game. Really don't have any words for what we witnessed in the first half. I think I see everything, and then the next week comes around, and then we go. There's more incompetence. And look, this game can't be blamed on officials. Part of it can. Losers find ways to make excuses, but we're going to talk about the whole game because things that happened in the first half obviously had an effect on the way the things went in the second half. But I got a take on that, and I know you do too. But ultimately, Auburn falls in this game 20-10. Faith, you and I talked about this all week. This is another putrid performance by Auburn's offense over the last 20 years. There's only been 3 games in the last 20 years where Auburn's put up 40 or more points. Everything else, I think the most they've scored is 24. But it's been 10, 10, 7, 3, 0, 13, another 10 performance tonight. I mean, it's just putrid. And there's no other way to say it. Auburn gets off to a great start. It was the best. I said it in the press conference. I told Coach Freeze, I said, you probably had your best half of football in SEC play in the first half. And then you completely went in the tank. I mean, I know you had an emotional end to the first half, but hell, you got to overcome that. You can't carry that into the second half and completely go in the tank. We had the ball 8 minutes, Faith. And I know I'm kind of going through a lot of different things right now, but I'll let you talk. Just kind of your thoughts. You were on the sideline. It was a totally different game from half one to half second half.
Yeah, you would think after how there was really cool, the light show laser thing that they did, and retiring Cam Newton's jersey, that maybe the opening momentum from Auburn in the second half would be stronger. And there was a question asked to almost every single player was, what was the momentum like going into the second half? Did it change at all? And all the players, they said no, but it felt down there that the second half was almost accepting defeat because they knew Georgia was going to come out there and do what they did. And you can't just blame one player, 2 plays to, okay, we've accepted that we're going to lose at this point.
Right. Again, I guess we just need to start. Billy said he's got to go. Time for Freeze. Reeves wants his buyout. I've got some thoughts on all that too. But look, can get off to a better start. The problem we've been talking about in the last 10 SEC games, Auburn's first drive is 3 and out. 6 times 3 and out, which you should have a better start to games. That's usually a scripted drive. You usually kind of dial things in. Hadn't been the case, but Auburn gets off to a phenomenal start. 14 plays, you drive down, you score a touchdown. Georgia was struggling to do anything offensively. If you look at the first half, they only had the ball for eight minutes. They were terrible on third downs. They were 0 of 4. Auburn was 8 of 11 in the first half. You talk about completely flipping the script from the last 2 games to this game. Auburn had 3 conversions for first downs in 2 games, and then they turn around and have 8 in the first half. It looked like what they did in the off week and during this week they'd made the right changes. They had a lot of energy. It just felt like, things had turned the corner. And with 2 minutes to go in this first half, Faith, the whole thing, it took 32 minutes in real time to finish that first half because of all the reviews and everything that went on. And literally, look, I know this is going to sound like the people watching this, it's not an Auburn fan, going to sound like we're in here making excuses. The officials literally escorted Georgia down the field to kick a field goal. I don't really know how else to explain it. They took over at the 1 yard line, and it was one penalty or one call after another to get a field goal. And Auburn, here's the problem I have, Faith, is Auburn can't over. This is a team that has no resolve. Like when something goes bad, they can't recover. And they went into the locker room, and you heard Freeze say it. He's like, I just felt like the energy got sapped out. Well, then how do you allow as a coach? You're still ahead. You're still up 10-3. Yeah, you got screwed, but you got a whole nother half to play, and you really dominated the first half. How does that translate into going into a shell? And then it was completely opposite there in the second half. If you look at time of possession, we ended up with only 29-48, so we only had the ball 8 minutes in the second half. They ended up having more time of possession. They had the ball 30 minutes. And then you look at the total yards, they had what did they have? 78 yards in the first half, ended up with 291. We ended up with 277 and had 230. So we had 40 yards of offense in the second half and had one first down that meant anything. The other two came on the last drive. I mean, how do you go from being the way you were in the first half to the way you were in the second half? That's the question.
And all he had to say was Georgia was able to make some adjustments coming out of the half. That was all he said.
And I asked him specifically, I said, Coach, you said Georgia made some adjustments. What did they do? What exactly did they do from you going from 15 first downs and controlling the clock to can't make a first down? And
stopping the run. That's all he said.
So,
stopping the run.
So what did we have rushing the football in the first half? So let's look at it. We had 25 carries for 130 yards. It looked like the Baylor game plan again, didn't it? Kind of felt that way. What did we have total rushing?
140 yards, 36 for 100.
So we had 10 yards rushing in the second half.
Yep.
On 11 more carries. Had 11 more carries and had that's the part that I can tell you that there's no excuse. Defense held them to a field goal, missed a field goal, still have a chance. This is 3 games in a row. You give the ball back to your offense, Faith, and you can't drive. You can't even get anything going. You and I looked at each other when I came down out of the press box, and we said, look, here's what's going to make you upset after they scored the touchdown to go at 2010. I said, that we'll drive down the field and score a touchdown when it won't matter. And you went, no, probably won't, because they probably won't be able to get a first down. Well, they did get 2, but then they ended up getting sacked at midfield to end the game. This isn't changing. I think that is what we all need to accept at this point. This is not changing. So at what point in time do you look at each other and go, how much more of this can we take? You got a Missouri team coming in here that had a chance to beat Alabama today. They're a good football team. I mean, you look down the line, you would think there'd be some winnable games. I don't know any game left on this schedule that's winnable for this team right now. And what I just saw coming out of that locker room in that press conference, I don't know how these players get back up and go to practice. I mean, I know they got to. I know they have to. We didn't let a Georgia fan in here, I promise. But I mean that's one of the things that to me is the most, I guess, consequential things that we need to focus on right now is that is it time for a change? Is it time for a change?
What's the change that's going to happen?
I'm talking about it, coach. I'm talking about head coach. I mean, look, I'm not in position to make a decision, but do you think how much more do we need to see? How many more putrid stats do we have to roll out? And I got a bunch of them. We can talk about them a lot. So as we got comments coming in, we do want to thank Peppertree Steaks and Wine. There is a positive to tonight, is that Peppertree Steaks and Wine is our partner here on the Postgame Show, and we really appreciate it so much. They've got great food. You can go check them out in Montgomery or here in Auburn. It doesn't matter what Auburn does on the football field. You can. There's one thing that's certain that you're going to win every time. It's when you go to Peppertree Steaks and Wine.
No question. They've got some of the best deals for some of the best cuts of meat and best quality meat, especially here in Auburn. So they've got one in Auburn off Bank Creek and then also in Peppertree in Montgomery. So make sure you hit up Peppertree Steaks and Wine.
Yeah, when you look at it, there's a lot of things that went on in this game that were crazy. We were talking to Nathan and Jason and everybody in the press room, and Nathan pushed this out. while we were talking. 40 total yards, 3 first downs, what we just talked about. Jackson Arnold in the second half, you mentioned this. Passing yards wise, you pointed this out to me in the press conference. They had 30 yards passing. In 30 yards passing in the second half. Here's my problem with Jackson Arnold. When you look at his final stats over here, when you look at his final stats, he's 19 of 31, 137 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. It's the same stat line every week. And you're not going to beat anybody when you just decide, oh, well, we're just going to be real vanilla and I'm going to be overly protective of the football. Like, that is the most bland stat line that you can have as a quarterback. Hell, take a chance every once in a while. I mean, what is it going to hurt? It's not like there's a you're undefeated and you're trying to make the perfect play. And you've lost 2 SEC games, now 3. Why are you afraid to throw the ball down the field? But here's what I told you Eric Singleton was wide open to make a play. He gets behind the defense, and Jackson Arnold once again overthrows him. If he puts air under the ball, Eric Singleton runs into the end zone. Auburn takes the lead, and then you don't know how that affects the rest of the game. But again, it's execution. It's the whole conglomeration of things, from coaching to lack of execution on the field. I feel sorry for Auburn's defense. I feel sorry for DJ Durkin. They once again gave Auburn a chance to win the game. They get no help. None. So
the longest throw tonight, Justin, was to Preston Howard for 18 yards.
Was it 18? I thought it was 13. Was it 18? Yep. Okay. I've got a problem. You only targeted 4 guys. I mean, but Brandon Frazier caught passes.
This is just the.
But where is he at on the stat sheet? Period. He's not even listed. I mean,
he was out in the second half.
Well, I know, but he caught passes in the first half, didn't he? Did he catch a couple?
Yeah, but this is just like the top.
They don't list everybody on there. Okay, but look at the targets here. Cam Coleman had 50 yards in receptions. The point is, we don't go downfield. We don't stretch the defense. We don't try to take the top off and give our playmakers. Malcolm Simmons didn't even get targeted. And I asked somebody in the press box tonight, is that all Malcolm can do is take a speed sweep? Like, I watched the kid in high school for 4 years. I know what kind of dynamic player he is. I know he's electrifying. We're not utilizing the talent that we have on this team. And that's another
This talent's going to be gone.
Well, yeah, I think that's a fair statement. I definitely think it's a fair statement. Billy said coaches have to go. Durkin and defense staff, the only ones that need to stay and be there in the morning. Justin said we complain if we don't throw it enough. We complain if we don't run enough week after week. Well, here's the problem, Justin, is there's no continuity and there's no consistency to what goes on. There's no consistency at all. You had a game plan that was working in the first half, and then all of a sudden in the second half, you can't seem to get a first down. You got 15 in the first half. I don't know how things can change so drastically from one half to another. That to me is the biggest problem here. Now, Billy, I don't miss Peyton Thorne. I don't. I mean, it's more of the same. I mean, what did he do while he was here? You know, he did the same thing that we see right now. I mean, all he did was turn the football over. I mean, so now you got a guy that's terrified to make any play. And then you had a guy that was so reckless with it that all he did was throw it to the other team. So, I don't miss Peyton Thorne. It really doesn't make any sense why Auburn. And again, Hugh Freeze, he went out and chose these guys. He picked Peyton Thorne. He picked Jackson Arnold. And apparently the quarterback position continues to be a mystery here at Auburn. I don't have any answers. I will say this. Freeze told me in the press conference that the adjustment that Georgia made is that they closed the zone routes for Auburn. They tightened up the zones. We couldn't block it better, and they were able to hit the gaps better. And that's why. So I guess one adjustment shut the whole offense down. You know, so it took them going in at half, going, okay, here's what we weren't doing well, and so they went in and they made an adjustment to shut Auburn completely down to the point where they had 40 yards of total offense in the second half. 40 yards. So Carson said Georgia had the ball from 10:40-ish in the fourth all the way to the 2-minute warning. Defense was worn out, Carson. Couldn't get off the field. There was a play when Georgia was backed up. It should have been a penalty on Keldrick Faulk, got his head taken off. That was on third down. They converted that, and it kind of got the drive going, but that would have been back way up, and then they would have had to punt the football. Probably Auburn get the ball at midfield, but again, I don't have any confidence Auburn would have been able to move it. Do you?
Down the field, no, because the only time that you see them move the ball down the field, it was in that first half, and after that, nothing. They can't do anything.
Right.
And so it doesn't make any difference. Auburn's not going to be able to even get. It doesn't matter if they score a field goal; they're not going to be able to put any points up on the board, and it's just week after week.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And then also too, you have a whole week off, and so you get to get your body healthy. You get to recover for a little bit, and you go into this rivalry game just to, I don't know a nice way to say it, just to lay an egg.
Well, I mean, here's the crux of the matter. Auburn has now lost 9 of these games in a row. Nine of the games in this rivalry, and really to me, I mean, there's 9-year-old kids walking around that have never
all
seen
those kids in that little grass area that we have to go and walk through that just are running around without their shoes on.
Yeah, they've never seen it.
They've never seen it.
They've never seen a win.
But they're on the field getting to run around and play and do all that kind of stuff too. So
yeah, I think there's a lot that we can look at. Okay, so officiating once again, that was brought up in the post-game presser. I don't know how many more times I can say it. It's terrible. I mean, there's a lot of bad calls in these games, and the reviews to me are the problem. Like going back to review, and I'll go back. Auburn should have been up 17-0. I don't look. Take the orange and blue colored glasses off. All you've got to do is touch the front of the line. That's the rule. So what the hell is he looking in the monitor at? So he's over there for 10 minutes. The game is stopped, and he's looking at it. And, yeah, should Jackson Arnold hold on to the ball and protect it better so it's not even a problem? Yes. But the problem is when he hit the line with the ball in his hand, the play should have been dead. So, okay, they called it a fumble. They said Georgia recovered. So, but you go back to the review and you get an opportunity to go, okay, let's look at it. We can slow it down. We got all these angles. We got all this technology in 2025. They showed the line, the laser that went up and down, and they showed the ball tucked in Jackson Arnold's arm touching the line. Play's over. Should have been a really quick look. Okay, ball's in there. Doesn't have to go across the line completely. All right, take the headset off, come over there and say the call's been overturned. It's a touchdown, Auburn 17-0. Instead, everything went to hell in a handbasket for the last 2 minutes. And it just kind of, then Georgia gets the ball. They've done nothing, obviously, the entire first half, and they drive down the field, escorted by the officials. And they go down there, and they can't even get in the end zone, so they have to settle for a field goal. Auburn still leads 10-3, but clearly that's where we go to the second half and realize that we go back into being who we've been for a long time around here. Cannot recover from things like that. Didn't recover at Oklahoma. Didn't recover tonight. And this is leadership. And had somebody on the sideline that you and I are friends with look at us, and she said, this trickles down from the top. This trickles down from the way the coaches handled themselves on the sideline. And I mean, she was right. She's right. Because it's always an excuse, always coming up with some kind of reason why something didn't happen. I really, to be honest with you, he was a loss for words tonight, wasn't he? Freeze. Kind of like you. Lost for words tonight.
I just don't understand how this keeps happening. It's just, if you're going to say you're going to go and make adjustments and it's going to start with yourself as a coach.
Right.
Obviously, there has been no adjustments made all the way from week 1 to week 7. And you've had a bye week that you're supposed to go in there. And why are you chasing and learning fundamentals?
Right.
And there was still even a false
Yeah,
start call
Yeah,
in
you
the
had,
offense.
then you had ended up with double-digit penalties again tonight,
for
right?
a third week in a row.
11 for 103. We got a super chat over here from Justin. Appreciate it, Justin. Not blaming refs, but was there ever a shot of Georgia breaking the plane on the first tee? No, it was called so fast. It didn't take them long to call that one, did it? Well, I mean, as soon as he lunged, they made a call. I mean, so it didn't take any time at all on that. Now, okay, you want to talk about reviewing a catch and then coming back and saying Kay and Lee targeted a guy and gets ejected? Well, they targeted too. Okay.
And then that doesn't get called.
And it doesn't get reviewed. And Freeze takes a timeout to go, what are you doing? He said, and this is what Freeze said in the press conference. The guy asked the question, said,
what did he say?
He said, what did he say? And he said, well, there wasn't sufficient enough contact to the head area for us to look at that. What? Seriously? Like, I mean, again, not trying to come up with, but just call the dadgum game the same on both sides. Like, if that's the case, if you're going to review a completion and then go back and go, oh, man, maybe he targeted this guy and we're going to change. I didn't even think you could do that. If you were reviewing a play
for something.
But yeah, and then you catch out of the corner of your eye that this guy may have targeted, and then you change that whole thing. Like, I was in the press box. I can personally attest to this. Like, it's supposed to be quiet up there, but it got so comical that everybody was just kind of just blurting stuff out. And you're not supposed to do that up there. And people were just flabbergasted by how horrendous and how much of a circus the end of the first half was, and then the calls that went on into the second half.
I mean, we all down there you're sitting down and then you're standing up because it's time after time. It felt like we were never, the girl next to us, we're like, that was 10 minutes. And now 7 seconds has gone by on the clock. And there's another call. And now we're waiting another 12 minutes. And then 4 seconds. I mean, we weren't getting off the field.
Right.
It wasn't ending.
Go back and get some of these comments. We got a lot of them pouring in. Carson said, I haven't been more dejected by an Auburn team since 2012, and Harson weren't as disheartening because the talent is there with this team. I agree, Carson. The roster, I feel like that's all we did in the offseason is talk about this roster. Justin said, put Daniels in at quarterback, run a military offense with Durkin defense. Can't be much worse. I agree. Bring on the military academies. Billy said missed on QB for 3 years in a row. I swear. He is the coach from the Water Boy. Justin said, what did Cohen do? Nothing. Other than scream at the official coming off the sideline. Now, you witnessed something in the press room.
Yeah.
He came in and slammed the door, didn't he?
Yeah, he was pissed.
Look, good for him. Glad he was. Carson said the officiating was horrible, but Hughes' demeanor towards the calls absolutely killed any chance of us winning. He has no fight left. Jeff said defensive end was lined up before the ball was even snapped on that play. Jason said Cohen chased officials off the field. Yep. Screaming and throwing a fit. Yeah, he was pissed. I mean, there's no doubt. War Eagle Albee said lack of head coaching preparation. Brent said, and this was probably Georgia's D game, maybe even their worst game in 8 years, and Auburn couldn't take advantage of it. I talked to your dad about that before we left to walk over to the stadium, and we both agreed it's the best opportunity. And the thing that was disheartening for us is that we didn't feel like Auburn could muster up any offense. I told y'all, I said, I'm concerned that Auburn can't get to 20. They didn't get to 20. Hell, they didn't get 13. And it's the same thing every single freaking week. Jamie said, Hugh ain't it. Gut-wrenching. Been an Auburn fan since 95. I swear we're cursed. Look, I'm going to say something that this may ruffle some people's feathers, okay? But I think everybody needs to have a moment here that we all need to have a coming to, to the good Lord moment. This program right now is DOA. And I've been following Auburn for a long time. And look, I've never been through a stretch like this. And I know people that are my dad's age that have been lifelong Auburn fans. They've never seen a stretch like this. I don't know what kind of funk this program is in. This team and this program cannot find ways to get over the hump. And
they can find ways to lose.
Well, he said it tonight, didn't he? He said, we don't know how to win football games around here. Well, who is that on?
Problem?
Well, who is that on? Yeah, who is that on? I mean, how many more times are you going to sit up there and tell everybody that, okay, we don't know how to do this or we don't know how to do that? You had 2 weeks. The thing he told us, the few of us that traveled to A&M, part of the media corps, by the way, I just want to let everybody know there's a small random few that will follow this team from here to wherever, okay? And we're sitting in there on the front row, and he said the same thing, and he followed up on my question. He said, well, thank God we got 2 weeks to prepare for Georgia. Is that what you brought out here?
That's what you prepared 2 weeks for?
I almost said something. I almost said, Coach, you looked at us in Texas A&M and said, thank God we got 2 weeks to prepare. We know what we got to do. Is that what you came out with?
All for the second half, for it to go straight down the drain for anything you did in the first half.
Brent said this was Georgia. Yeah, let's see. Georgia's worst game in 8 years. Auburn couldn't take advantage. War Eagle all be free. Sounded so out of it in the post-game review. Depressing. That's the worst one.
Every single time, it's the same thing. If you go back and you watch any single one of the ones that we've posted, it's the same exact thing in a different form.
Right.
Same thing. Same message.
AU Vet 1986. We would have one loss maybe if we hadn't had bad calls against us. I agree with that. I think the outcome of the Oklahoma game and this game was definitely, the tone was set with the calls in this game. But again, this team doesn't have a championship mentality, and they can't overcome bad things. So if things happen against them, they fall into the abyss. And they can't recover. Like if there's some Georgia fans watching, fine. That's not a very fundamentally sound. That's not a wow you Georgia team. That's one of the least athletic offenses I've seen Georgia have.
I thought Auburn was going to expose Georgia because they are.
Okay, I'm not going to mention names, but I watch football and I break things down. Okay, and my son played H-back in high school. Tight end play, wide receiver play, Georgia. I can go down a list of great players Georgia has had at all those positions, running backs too. None of those guys stand out. Like none of them. Like none of those guys are NFL guys, in my opinion. Gunnar Stockton, he's a very average quarterback. He don't do anything to really get you beat. He's a gamer. I'll give him that. He's gritty. But he's not doing anything. Well, I mean, what were his stats tonight? He ended up what? Maybe better than I thought. 23 of 36 for 212, no TDs. I mean that's vanilla too. I mean, but what I'm saying is I look over there and there's a lot of fundamental things that I saw with Georgia that they don't do well. I mean, Auburn got in the backfield a bunch, got pressure on Gunnar Stockton. I know they had some new guys starting on the offensive line, but their tight end game is non-existent. And that's usually the bread and butter of Georgia. They don't have a tight end or an H-back that has been on the level of the ones we've seen over the last 10, 15 years. They don't have those guys. Those guys don't make plays. There's not a guy on their offense you go, man, I'm scared to death of that guy on third down. He's going to burn us. No. There's not a guy out there. So now, again, we don't either. We don't have one either. But this is a Georgia team that's recruited 1, 2, 3 in the country the last 15 years. And Kirby Smart's had them at the top of the college football world. And this is one of the least scary Georgia teams that I can remember. Now, again, kudos to them. They came in here and they won the game, and they didn't play very well. So what does that say about Auburn? Bryant said, and I know Bryant. Bryant's a Georgia fan. I've known Bryant a long time. He said, I agree. It's the worst Kirby Smart team they've had. So, again, this is not me bashing Georgia because Auburn lost. This is just saying go compare the Georgia's, the Carters on the defensive line, I can go through the linebackers they've had over the years. They've had some stud teams. This is not one that you're going to pick out.
And also their defense is not supposed to drop those balls that, Jackson Arnold literally threw to them.
Well, how many, everybody wants to talk about Jackson Arnold hadn't thrown an interception. How many has been dropped by the opposing defense this year? I can count of like 5 that they've dropped that should have been,
I
you know,
literally have a
interceptions.
picture tonight of it going off of one of their guys'
Yeah.
hands. So,
all right, thoughts on the Clapp timeout? Well, it was a lie, first of all, and kind of tells you about. I mean, and look,
do you need to hear that from Kirby Smart for you to know that he's lying about something?
No, I mean,
no,
he just
probably
look.
not.
I had
or actually going and being on the field and them having to pull him off because he's running down the.
He coaches at the number. He coaches at the numbers, doesn't he?
Yes.
He stays at the numbers, but so the thoughts on the timeout? He called timeout. Who claps like this? Anybody clap like that? I mean that. So again, that should be a penalty. Wasn't called.
But it's Kirby Smart, so that's why it's not called. Right.
AU Vet 1986. We have more talent than we're showing. Freeze needs to be replaced. Brent said, "Did Auburn even have 30 yards in the second half?"
Right there, they were. Just
we're showing again. Well, and then the timeout. So. Yep. I mean, just kind of looking back and I mean, it's just a bad call. I mean, who do y'all like as coaching targets? Man, I'll tell you, I don't know, man. I just, it's like,
why can't we have the same coach and good things happen? You actually see the development.
I just really think this ship has sailed. I mean, I do. I mean, like, I've given it the benefit of the doubt. I know you have as well. Don't you agree?
Yes.
This ship has sailed. I mean, I didn't see anything that gave me any hope in that post-game press conference that anything's going to change. I didn't. The
boys are tired. I mean, you said you couldn't even hear.
Oh, I couldn't even get up. Like, I've got one. I can't even post this interview that Jeremiah Cobb. I don't even know what he said. I couldn't even hear him. I mean, there were 20 people around him. I'm right there, and somebody on the first question, he went, "Well," I'm like, "Well, I can't even pick that up." And so, and it lasted about a minute. And then I know the one with Bobby Jameson Travis, it lasted about a minute. And Taylor looked at me and she said, "Well, I mean, they're not even saying anything." So because there's nothing to say. That's kind of what I'm saying. And I told some of you leaving the stadium that were texting me, I'm like, this team's kind of melded in. I don't really know what else to tell you. I mean, it's really kind of mind-blowing. Look, I'm not saying that you can't rally the troops, come out and beat Missouri or whatever, but I don't see it, man. I don't. Justin, I don't know on coaching targets. I mean, Auburn hadn't gotten a coaching hire right in so long. I can't remember. So I'm terrified of who it could be. War Eagle Albee, when is Auburn leadership going to step up and initiate a mandate the SEC have accountability? I don't know. That was asked in the press conference. They asked him directly, when is Auburn going to say something about some of these calls? And I don't know what you do about it. What can you do, really? Is there anything you can do? I don't know of anything you can do about it. War Eagle Albee said this is like a bad dream, like we were snake bitten this year. Well, we've been snake bitten for 4 years. War Eagle Albee, this is not just this year. I mean, this continues on down the track of a nightmare. Why is Freeze gone so conservative? I don't have any explanation for it. I really don't. Robert, I'm not sure if we had Gunner, we'd be undefeated. I don't know that. I mean, to me, he's not. He's kind of pedestrian. He's a gamer, but he's not a guy like you'd be having the same problems with Gunner Stockton back there. I think that you would with Jackson Arnold. I mean, he may throw it a little bit better. He may have a little bit more, gunslinger mentality, but I don't see it. He's more of a play action, rely on your running game type quarterback. You almost need a very dynamic dual threat guy that can sling it, run around, and scare people to death if he gets out of the pocket. Right now, Jackson Arnold's a dual threat quarterback, but he ain't really a dual because he only does one thing. He only runs.
Throwing the ball is just not anything that anyone should be scared of.
He can't make a play when it counts. Like, But the bottom line is Jackson Arnold.
But did you notice that in the first half when he was throwing the ball, they were in that hurry up kind of.
They were in the hurry up.
Fast,
That's why it was
going. That's why it was working. Then the second you let him have any time to think, it's like he spirals inside, and it's so. If you know he can't do that, and you know that's where he is flawed at, what do you? I mean, are you
another prominent beat writer with us? And I won't name names when we're in the locker room at Oklahoma. And he looked at us before anybody got in there, and there were 2 or 3 more. He said, "Seen enough with him. Can't watch that anymore."
Yeah.
And he called it then, and I think we already knew it too. But let's just face it. He can't get it done. When the game's on the line, Eric Singleton was wide open to take the lead, and he missed it, just like he missed Cam Coleman in the Oklahoma game. Okay, so if you got any grit about you, you figure out a way to make a play. Now, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I disagree bringing him in there in that press conference and letting him sit over there like a knot on a log.
No, I think that is sad for him.
Well, it's not. It's not fair, really, to bring him in there with Freeze. If you're going to bring him in, let him come in and talk to the press. I even had a reporter say, "Was that it for? Is that all we're going to get out of Jackson Arnold?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I didn't know that you could ask him a question." I'm like, "Yeah, you can ask him a question because we've done it.
Yep.
But you got to ask him questions while you're asking Freeze questions." So, John said, "Where do you go now?" Freeze doesn't seem like the answer. No idea when this program wins again. 9 straight losses. I am like in a Twilight Zone moment here with Auburn football. Like, you're staring down the barrel of a 5th consecutive losing season. It's never happened in our lifetime. It's never happened. John, I know you well. You and I worked in media relations at Auburn together. Would you have ever imagined this happening at Auburn right now? And I can see all the little things down there. I know you're cussing. So, Joey, lost all momentum on the fumble, then the targeting call, then unsportsmanlike conduct, sucked the life out of us, makes me sick watching us lose like this when we could be 3-0 in the SEC with the talent we have on both sides of the ball. No doubt.
And every single person said that the fumble, they didn't lose momentum. Nothing happened. If anything, it made them more heated and they wanted to go out there and win it more. I didn't see that. That's why I was getting asked so many times.
Can I play my bullshit card on that one? I can hear.
You could have played it all night.
Yeah, I can hear what they say, but it doesn't add up. Baylor has a QB that slings it all over the field. Look, we talked about him. Like, I feel like I know that guy personally. We talked about Baylor so much.
Sawyer Robinson.
But he is a phenomenal quarterback. And the guy, like, how we got out of that game, I'll tell you how we won the game is Rayshawn Pleasant ran that kickoff back because they had taken all the momentum in the game there. And when he ran the kickoff back, we went up 2 scores again, and they just could never overcome it. Jeff said, honestly, will we win a conference game?
No.
Kentucky would be the only one I would give us a chance to win. And I don't know who right now you would line up and say we're better than. I don't know that we're better than anybody.
Are we going to be the Mississippi State of the SEC?
We already are right now, but with a hell of a lot better roster, hell of a lot better facilities, hell of a lot better fan support. I mean, these fans keep showing up over here. You think we're on a heater. You think we've been winning for 5 years. And that atmosphere was electric tonight.
This is disgusting.
It's just I said it all week to you, and I'll say it again. It is not that Auburn fans don't deserve the performance that they're getting from this team. Like, the product they're rolling out there is disgusting. And it's not the kids. Look, I want anybody to, like, this is not us talking about the players. This is the preparation of the adults, the coaches that are putting plans. They are not giving our guys a legit chance to make plays to win, period. Brian said Kirby's explanation for timeout ordeal. I wasn't saying that I was clapping. I was saying that Gunner was clapping. They called the timeout while looking at Gunner. Okay.
Where's that card?
Yeah. Jeff said he is the new Saban.
Everyone thinks he's God. I think everyone needs
Well,
to.
you know what? He gets away with stuff, and look, I'm going to say this. He kind of earns. Unfortunately, as bad as it pains me to say it, he's won all these games and figures out ways to win these games, and he's kind of taken that mantle. He's vaulted himself up to the top. Who else would you say in this league is a very, very dominant top coach? I mean, I'm not willing to say Steve Sarkisian is, even though they beat Oklahoma. It tells you about Oklahoma today, by the way. What a putrid performance that was by them. Brent Venables is the guy we all thought he was. He's not very good. Billy said, all I know is we got to get the hire right. I don't have confidence. I don't. Wowzer said, I think we beat Kentucky and Mercer, and that's it. And that's the truth. I mean, who else are you picking right now for Auburn to beat?
No one. What you're going to have Missouri come in here and get stomped on.
At what point in time do you stop seeing people show up in that stadium over there? That's the question. When do the fans go, I've had enough of this? Like, is it going to be a midday game against Kentucky that people go, you know what, I got a lot better things to do. I need to rake some leaves, or I need to clean my gutters, or I need to do something. I'm not going down there to sit and watch that. I'd rather paint a wall and watch it dry instead of going and watching a wall paint dry is about like watching Auburn's offense. I'm being honest about it. I mean, you're right, brother. I mean, watching that kind of move in and kind of fill in and dry is a little bit more exciting.
The cycle on the washer go round and round. Yeah, I mean, I'd rather do that because this is all.
You ever roll paint on a wall? Sometimes it can kind of be soothing. Auburn's offense isn't soothing, I can tell you that. Justin said, we have money. We have resources. Auburn will turn it around, but you ain't it.
No, Auburn uses their money to do the dumbest things possible and make hires like Brian Harsin and then do things like that. And then you're put in this situation, and then you hire Hugh Freeze, and nothing seems to happen after that. So, And the money's not going to save the players that are on the team for next year.
Brent said, been snake bitten since the second half of Mississippi State game 2021. That was a disaster. You're right. I don't think we've recovered. Hey, I just want to remind everybody we benched Bo Nix. Okay. If you want to talk about some low moments in school history, we actually benched Bo Nix and thought he was the problem. So, by the way, Oregon lost today to Indiana at home. So, take that for what it's worth for all their momentum. 15th, GA said, fire Freeze, fire Cohen, go hire John Summerall at Tulane. Russ Barrett said, it's a mindset thing at this point. Freeze lost his composure at the half, couldn't challenge his team to overcome it. What did Cohen do? I don't know what you mean by that, Justin. What do you mean? What did Cohen do? Kind of elaborate on that. Hugh isn't a leader. Sam said Hugh isn't a leader. We need to go get Kurt Signetti. He's a great coach, but we'll see. I'm 100% by the name you just said over there. 100%. I'll save it for another day. Don't let Cohen make the next hire. Russ, I think you meant to type something else. I'm sick of offenses that rely on superhuman type QB. Why not just hire someone that has no philosophy except working with the talent you got? It's a good question. I don't have an answer for that one. Billy said, you going to have the same problems with any QB because it's the coaches. I think everybody's in agreement, Faith, on this thing with coaches.
Is John Cohen? Are the boosters?
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Because it doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what we think. So
Justin said it can't be Dilly or Lashley. I don't want either one of them. I'm with you. Quentin said, is it time to try Deuce Knight? Why not? Look, I'm going to say this, and people can just say whatever they want to. Look, I gave Jackson Arnold the benefit of the doubt. but he's 0-3 in SEC. There's no need to play him anymore. You're not going. We have seen enough of this, of Jackson Arnold. So why at this point, if you're going to try to change and do anything, you're going to show your fan base that you're going to really try to go back to the drawing board and change. Why are you playing Jackson Arnold? Is somebody got a magic wand that's going to make him release the ball on time when he has to drop back? Like, you've had to take that whole phase of your game out because he obviously can't handle dropping back. So everything has to be a dink and dive pass.
That's like needing to go to therapy for OCD. Like, if you're going to have to sit there and think about it so much that you're going to go so late and then you're going to go get sacked and you're just overthinking every single thing, go seek help. Like, I don't know what else to do about it.
But there's nothing a coach can do to help Jackson Arnold.
A therapist can.
Yeah.
So I don't get off the
well,
field and go to therapy.
Well, then go to therapy. But I just don't you agree that we don't need to see any more of him?
Yes.
I don't know of anything else to say. And I don't know Jackson Arnold personally. I don't mean any harm by saying that, but he's had his chance and it's not working. So why not try somebody else? Ashton Daniels?
Is Deuce Knight and Ashton Daniels that bad that we have to sit there and watch this stuff going on? Like, seriously, I don't know. I didn't think so in practice.
No, I didn't either.
But apparently it might be so.
Hugh and Gus were good coaches too.
Before they came to Auburn.
Is it an Auburn problem? Is it a culture problem down here?
We saw what happened with Jake Thornton when he came to Auburn.
Allen said Shane Beamer at Auburn. I don't want Shane Beamer. Justin said, hell no. Russ said recruiting high-paid assistants are a thing of the past. Hire OCs that can win the damn game. We miss Gus winning 8 a year. Well, yeah, I mean, the reason, Robert, that made a change is I went through this on the podcast this past week, didn't I? I said his seat was blazing hot until he went and got Jarrett Stidham. And Jarrett Stidham saved his job. He was going to get fired. Then he has that year, and then Auburn gets sucked into giving him a big buyout because he threatened to go to Arkansas, right? You know what I would have said? I'd have said, you know what? Go right ahead and go be a hog because you go do your thing. But Auburn fell in the trap, gave him a big buyout, and then he went back to being the Gus he was in 15 and 16. And everybody got pissed off going, we're not getting our money's worth. So by 2020, the COVID year, people had enough. And so then steps in Alan Green, who should have never been hired, by the way. And then he goes and hires Brian Harsin, who may be the single worst hire outside of Sonny Galloway and Tony Barbie. Like, we have a Mount Rushmore of crappy coaches. Like, if you want to see the coaches that you don't want to hire, Auburn hired 3 of the God's worst you could hire. Tony Barbie is the worst basketball coach I've ever witnessed. He blocked me on Twitter. I chastised him so much, he blocked me on Twitter, which I thought was an honor. And Sonny Galloway, like, Oklahoma held a parade when we hired him. They said, hey, thank y'all. We're excited that y'all got that SOB out of here. And he's down there with y'all. So let's just keep piling on the bad coaches. I mean, we have a Mount Rushmore of crappy coaches. Does anybody agree with me on that? Amen, I mean, okay. Can I get an amen? That's what I'm at. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. We're cooking with gas now. After 3 years, why aren't we improving? I don't know, AU Vet. I don't know.
It's because the coaches aren't improving. And, I mean, you're going and you're getting these highly ranked recruits and highly talented recruits, and you're making them worse here at Auburn. So you're just doing a disservice to them.
Blake said poo freeze instead of he freeze. We're going 5-70, but I don't even care at this point, Billy, what the record is.
I'm just ready to start going to basketball.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess
this is
we'll be there Wednesday. Lord help. The better comparison was Tennessee between Fulmer and Heupel. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Hey, Tennessee went into a funk for 20 years. Like, you talk about leaving the 98 national championship game. Do you think they thought they were going to go down the tubes? After that, we didn't even talk about Cam Newton's jersey retired tonight. Boy, what a great deal that was. And Auburn found a way to screw that up somehow with the game, as we have Cam behind us right here. Wish he could have suited up. I mean, heck, I would have rather just forfeited and let him go out there exhibition wise and seen what he could have done.
One of his kids could have gone out there and played and probably done better. So
Wowzer said AU and Florida are in the same program right now. I hadn't even checked scores. I'm assuming Texas A&M beat the crap out of them tonight. I didn't look at it.
I don't know.
Well, we're about to pull it up. Y'all help us out a little bit. Let's see. 34-17, yeah.
Well, at least, Florida can score.
They can. Dan Lanning in Auburn. I don't think Dan Lanning's going to leave Oregon. Bring Cam Newton as OC or head coach is what Travis said. He's not going to do that. That's not it. Q Stephen Pearl, it's basketball season, John said. RR Big Cat said we need to hire the biggest villain as a head coach. Call Urban at this point.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
Who is out there? Like, can we just start that a little bit? Who is out there?
Rhett Lashley.
I don't want Red Lashley.
John Gruden.
John Gruden, I'd definitely take John Gruden. He'd be a splash hire, and when he walked in somebody's living room, they would say, "That's John Gruden." And you don't think that guy can't coach, and you ain't watched football. So I don't think you'd be worried about a timid quarterback. He wouldn't put up with it. Jamie said he gave up on drinking and may start again. Well, I understand that. So I get it. Like, it'll make you do things that you don't want to do. I can tell you that. 4 years haven't been good since 2019. Robert said, we have seen enough. 3 years is enough. My dad said this earlier today in a text thread. He said, in the year 3, you ought to be rolling. You ought to have your stuff together. The roster is there. We talked about that, and we're blue in the dadgum face. And you're just not getting the results. It only leads back to one thing. It leads back to the coaching. Jeff said, go get Kirby from Georgia.
No.
He almost was here, by the way. So, very close. War Eagle Albee said, got 4 sets of AU season football tickets. We'll trade for 2 sets of basketball tickets. Not picky about where the seats are. We run a ticket exchange on here on Auburn Blitz. Tony said Ole Miss is about to put 40 on that Georgia defense next week. Well, they barely escaped Washington State.
I'll go ahead and say it. I mean, I just would rather hope Ole Miss beats the hell out of them. I mean, that's saying a lot for me.
Yeah, neither one of us pulling for them. And look, can I just say I'm sorry tonight for you, because I know that this one was big for you. And
it's okay. I'm used to disappointment. So
yeah,
I
felt terrible. I thought after the first half we were actually gonna do something.
Everything Georgia brings me is disappointment. So I'm just.
Justin doesn't understand why people are calling for Cohen's head. He said, "Why would we fire him?" I don't necessarily think it's him that's the problem. He's got to make a decision to change the course of his football program. That's on his watch right now. Brent said the warning signs were there with Freeze prior to his hiring. The powers that be ignored it. I'm not going to get into what I was told this week, but I relayed it to you some things that he said that it's gotten back that hasn't made people happy around here. And again, it was a trusted source. And I know I hate to tease people with that, but I'm not going to say what he said. No, it has nothing to do with us. No. Blake said it's crazy to think the team was actually 6-2 with a win over Kiffin, Ole Miss in 21 under Harsin before the wheels fell off. I'll remember that. That was Halloween. I think it was either the day before Halloween or whatever, but we were at a Halloween party, and I think Ole Miss's quarterback got knocked out of that game. And, like, he was upset or whatever. But, I mean, Auburn, they played a great game. So, Justin said, who do you want as the coach, Faith? He's asking you directly.
Anybody else.
Brian Denrock, Notre Dame offense coordinator, Charlie said. Russ said Eli. Eli Drinkwitz? Blake said, I think Ashton Daniels should be playing. SG said, whatever booster or boosters made the final decision, hire Freeze needs to sit this one out on the next hiring process. They need to just sit down and shut the hell up. This is embarrassing. Coleman said, does no one want Durkin as head coach? Like, I mean, he could be the rest of the year coming up. Coleman, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Justice said, damn, we almost got Faith to cuss. So she really did. She just said it silently, Justin. Blake, I don't know if Jesus Christ could help Jackson Arnold at this point. That's pretty rough. Coleman said everyone throws out a bunch of names, but DJ never comes up. I think DJ's names come up. I do. Now, he hasn't had the best track record as a head coach. I'll be honest. Being a coordinator is different than being a head guy. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying DJ Durkin can't get the job done. I think DJ Durkin's done a hell of a job on the defensive side of the football. Can he make the defense isn't the problem? Can you find somebody that's offensive minded that can get Auburn out of this funk of scoring points? I'm not going back down that list of games over the last 20 years of the point totals. I'm just not going to do it. Also, SEC needs to do a live listen in during reviews, just like the ACC. I agree with that 100%, Coleman. Coming from a lifelong Auburn basketball fan, it can get better. Like, I'm not saying it can't, but like Auburn football has never been in this position, Justin. This is a whole different ball of wax. Auburn basketball sucked from the inception of time. Then Bruce Pearl came in and changed the way Auburn played basketball. But Auburn football has been a perennial top 15 program nationally forever. And that's not the case right now. They're not. And I don't know why or how it got away from them. Russ said Hugh and Gus both have one problem. They are tied to their philosophy. Just takes a once in a 10-year quarterback equivalent to make the talent work. Yep. Comments keep coming in. Brad said, is Hugh even better than Harsin? At this point, no, he's not. Can you believe that we'd say that at this point, Faith? And I know there is a bunch of y'all watching right now, but we're approaching an hour and we're about slam out of talking. But we appreciate the comments. Just keep coming in. James Franklin will be available. No, don't want James Franklin. Joey said Bob Stoops. Is Bob Stoops washed up? I don't know.
Yeah, it's who's going to come here.
Yep. Rashad. Where did that go? Went away. Kind of shot down to the bottom. Sorry, guys. There's been a lot of – there it is. Exactly what I'm done with SEC football until they show what's going on in the booth on these calls. No point watching this crap. Just get an apology for pleasing Vegas on Monday. You know what they can do with that apology, don't you? That thing is about worth what this paper's worth. Nothing. I mean, why even issue that? Because there's no consequences that can come. It's not like you say, oh, we screwed it up. We're not counting that game on either team's thing because it was so badly officiated that we feel like that the outcome was tainted because they did such a poor job. I'm going to say this will be one of the last few things I'm saying, and I think Faith just tapped out. She's had enough. I've had enough too. Go pay officials to be full-time. Quit hiring school superintendents and guys that drive Tom's Chip trucks and all that kind of stuff and let them come on the weekend to referee a billion-dollar industry. I've said this a million times. The most important people on the field are the officials. If you don't have officials, you don't have a game. Well, how about get somebody that, hey, look, this is all you do. This is what you do. Pay them $200, $250. I don't give a crap. If this is the best you can get every week, and this ain't the same crew, by the way, screwing up. This is multiple.
They all suck.
Dude. It's officially Auburn Blitz after hours tonight. So it's 12:30. Is it really 12:30? Gosh almighty.
It's because that first half didn't end.
Because the officials drugged the last part of the first half out for 30 minutes. All right, we got, these comments, boy, they just rolling in like crazy. So, just said, I'm tired of seeing Stoops on that Sonic commercial. So we should have a fan vote for each offensive play. Just pop them up on the Jumbotron like NCAA football. Also put a decent camera on the goal line and implement goal line technology. I mean, we've got all this technology.
AI for a coach.
You know what I said in the AI? Hey, what? Why not? Hey, probably is happening. Hey, okay. Can I just say this? If you are an official and you go to the review and you still screw it up and you can't see calls real time, then why not go to the damn robot? Because if all you're doing is dragging it out, you still screw it up. You went looking this little TV, and what are you watching? Like, what are you looking at? And who's talking to you? Is the guy in Birmingham saying, yeah, I know that literally kind of looked like a touchdown, but you need to stick with a call on the field. So I don't understand what's going on.
I don't know. I mean,
understand what's going on.
I could go back there and do better. I mean, I'm just saying at this point, because if I can see it on the Jumbotron and you can't see it in that little screen, get some glasses. I don't know, figure it out. Yeah.
There's some people that agree with you over here. Brandon said, tired of losing to the refs, obvious the legalizing the gambling affecting the outcome of the game. Look, I can't argue with you, man. It makes you really feel like something fishy's going on. And, like, I hate to be a conspiracy theorist on stuff. Now, some of you watch.
I've got you on it. Because of the NFL and all that stuff. It's
you know what? There's so much money out there. It's hard not to think it's not rigged. I hate to be that way. But sometimes, man, you look at this stuff and you go, man, that's some BS. That's some BS right there. So Justin said he respects ACC refs calls a lot more because of what they do. They allow you to see and hear their views. What are you hiding, SEC? Huh?
a lot.
I saw the dadgum when the officials came in, right by us. That wormy guy that was the head official. I don't like him anyway because he's terrible. I mean, no, he's not. No, unfortunately, they all look the same. They all you can't. They're all so bad. They look identical. Like so. And look, I'm gonna say this too, and I this is different in college, but we do high school, and in high school, this is completely different level. But the officiating at the high school level is atrocious too, and it's for a different reason. Now these guys really do. They give their time, and there's not enough officials. Look, I'm not bashing on them, but officiating from top to bottom, I have to watch it on Friday and then roll down here to this crap and watch it on Saturday from some guys that are supposedly professionals. But I can tell you this: I know some high school officials that are damn better than what I've been seeing in the SEC. I will say that 100%. Justin said Ken Williamson is a Scooby-Doo villain. I'm not. I would agree. Yeah, he's wormy to me, Travis. I don't care what his name is. Forrest said, "What are the odds that Freeze gets canned Sunday?" Don't know. We better stay tuned here in the next 24 hours. I can tell you that. So, all right, Peppertree Steaks and Wine. They're the ones that are awesome. Again, the burgers, the steaks, the ribs, the chicken, the tiger tails, all that stuff.
Wine selection.
We need a bottle of that right now. We should have had that.
God.
With Auburn the way they're playing, we just need to be prepared for next week. I mean, just go ahead and have the bottle. Just pick out which one you just pick out one. Just call Paula or Kathy and just say, "Look, what do you want? What kind do you want?" Because I have a feeling we're going to be sitting here doing the same crap. So,
you guys can do it with us. So go to Peppertree Steaks and
we'll let you know what bottle we choose. You can go pick the same one, and we can all drown our sorrows together. So, all right, it's 12:30 in real time. So, man, I'm telling you, but this has been great for us, all of you guys. This is an outlet for you to kind of air your grievances. And there's still a bunch of you watching right now, a ton of people watching, and we appreciate you staying up with us tonight. Brandon, did I not say that exactly?
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing I said.
Yeah.
Brandon said the refs escorted Georgia down the field, holding their hand before halftime, literally handed them a field goal. Tried to hand them a touchdown, and Georgia couldn't even score a touchdown. So they had to settle for a field goal. Sucks, man. I don't know what else to tell y'all. 20-10, Georgia wins. That makes me want to throw up. Makes me want to puke. Every time I'm sick of red and black. I hate crimson. We'll see that in a few weeks. I don't like either one of them. I don't own a red shirt. I won't own a red shirt. I hate the color. I mean, I just all the way around. Any shade of it sucks. And so, I mean, I don't mince any words. So, but yeah, the refs aren't fully to blame for the way Auburn played in the second half. I can tell you that. Auburn was still ahead. And let me just close this out with some nice putrid numbers for y'all. In case y'all need to puke before you go to bed tonight. Auburn had 25 rushes for 130 yards in the first half. They ended with 36 rushes for 140. Doesn't take a Philadelphia lawyer to figure that out, does it? 10 yards rushing in the second half. Auburn total plays in the first half, 44 for 237 yards. They ended up with 67 for 277. Again, doesn't take a Philadelphia lawyer to figure out you had 40 yards there in the second half. You had 15 first downs in the first half. You had 18 for the game. And 2 of them in the second half came in a drive that didn't mean a continental thing, not one thing. You had the ball in the first half for 21 minutes and 55 seconds. You ended up with the ball for 29:48. Georgia had the ball for 8:05 in the first half and ended up with 30-12. They ended up having the ball longer than we did. So just putrid, man. And then what were you third down? 8 of 11 in the first half on third downs, and you were 8 of 17. You didn't get a damn third down in the second half. You went right back to Oklahoma and Texas A&M. I mean, you literally transformed back into the crappy team that you were on the road the last 2 weeks. Justin, we're here for you, man.
Brandon said, what do we as fans do? Go to Peppertree Steaks and Wine and get some wine.
That's right. Moscato. My wife just said Moscato for her. Blake said it's been fun to hop on. We all have late, but appreciate you. Good night. We appreciate you, Blake. Appreciate all of you out there that follow us. Just went over 11,400 subscribers this week. Going to get up there hopefully to 12,000. So, yes, word of the day is putrid. I agree with that.
Period, Kim.
Yep. Putrid all the way around. You won the lottery, Kim. You stayed home today. Yeah, so
yep.
You
too, Mom.
Yeah. And yeah, those of you that stayed indoors away from the nuclear fallout, y'all are safe. So just said it's crazy how the call phone will just flip the switch on off. Yeah, look, if you're that weak, if you're that fragile mentality wise, and you just cave, then you ain't made of much. I mean, I'm gonna end on that. You're not made of much. And right now we're finding out we're not made of much. I mean, you still had the dang lead. I'm trying to reiterate that point. It ain't like we were down 10-0. We were up 10-3. Your defense came out and got a stop in the first drive. You forced Georgia off the field. They gave you good field position. Couldn't take advantage of it. You could have driven down the field and scored. It'd been 17-3 and been like, oh, okay, well, we got it back. You couldn't do it because you know why? You went in the shell. Your offense is terrible. And so there's no other way to spin it. All right, Faith, what else you got? We're going on an hour and 8 minutes.
Good night.
There you go, everybody. That pretty much sums it up. Hey, appreciate all of you that tuned us in. Again, this sucks. I hate it. None of us wanted to lose this game. Thought Auburn had a really good chance the way they played for the first, 18 minutes, 20 minutes of that real-time football minutes. Then it kind of all fell apart. So got to be better than that. So, good night to all of you. Appreciate all of you so much. If you have not subscribed, go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the like button. We'll see a lot of people liking that stuff. It really helps us out a lot. Hey, thanks, Justin, for the super chats. If you want your chat pulled to the front, I know we don't get to all of them, but if you want your chat read, if you want your comment read, that we don't miss it, pay for it. I mean, I'm not sitting here trying to say we're getting rich off of it, but it guarantees that your comment will get read. We try to run through all of them. We can't run through them all tonight, obviously. And so we're not picking on you and we're not ignoring you. Please don't take it personally that we didn't read off your comment. But if you want your comment read, you can pay through a super chat and it'll pop up. And we appreciate it so very much. So, all right, we will be back with you on Monday for just a blazing Auburn Blitz podcast. You know, you just can't wait to hear more of this. Will something have happened between now and then? I don't know. We will be heading to an on the road show. We got a busy week, and we got media days for basketball Wednesday. Then we got a basketball game Wednesday night. That's going to be a late night, so you just better go ahead and sleep up, however you say that. Get some rest. So show tomorrow, maybe Justin. I don't know. I'm showed out right now, bro. I don't know what else more I can say. So
if that happens.
Oh, if that happens, yes,
there
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, if we have some kind of major news, yes, we will go live 100%. So, all right, everybody, if you're out there on the road traveling, be safe. It's late. I'm about to do the same. Appreciate all of you so much. Faith, send us out, please. Thank you.
Hope everyone finds it in them to have the best day tomorrow.
That's the most somber ending to any of our shows that we've ever had. So now she's about to go. Now she's about to go throw up, and I'm going to go to the other bathroom and throw up. So, all right, we've enjoyed it. Love all of you out there. Appreciate you so much. We'll see you Monday for another edition of Auburn Blitz. Thank you, Peppertree Steaks and Wine.